Good evening, everyone. My name is Mark Herrera. I'm the president of the Hoya Hoop Club. I wanted to thank all Hoya fans for joining us tonight for this special Zoom with our new coach, Ed Cooley, and the voice of the Big East, John Fanta, who I know needs no introduction. We're excited to have the support from our entire fan base, Hoya Hoop Club donors, members, season ticket holders, and other fans with us tonight. I know that everybody's excited to hear from Coach Cooley about his first couple months on the job here and where things are headed with the Hoyas. Part of the conversation, obviously, as it always will be, is how the fans can support us. And I'll let Coach Cooley address that later, but we're expecting and excited to see a lot of fans at Capital One Arena this season, packing that gym and also supporting the team on the road and everything else you can do to support. Well, I'll let Coach Cooley talk about that later. So with that, I know people aren't here to hear me talk, so I'm going to pass it over to my good friend, John Fanta. Take it away, John.
Well, thank you, Mark. And to all the Hoya faithful out there, it's great to be with all of you tonight. Hope your summer is off to a great start. I know you're all thinking about one thing, and that is a new day of Georgetown basketball. Understanding the tradition of the program and moving it forward and back into the deep, the tough, the challenging Big East Conference and having the Hoyas be a factor in that league. It's a pleasure to be joined tonight by the head coach of the Hoyas, a guy who has won at every level he's been at, a guy who has helped me and so many others in their respective career paths, a guy who defines what it means to do for others. That's what he's done, and now he's going to do that at Georgetown University and provide young men with an amazing experience, one that is winning on the court, one that's winning off the court, one that embodies everything Georgetown is about. So without further ado, Coach Ed Cooley. Ed, good evening.
Art G, John Fanta, Hoya Nation, season ticket holders, Hoya Hoop Club, and many of you that are following. I appreciate y'all being on. It is it's an exciting time on the hilltop, real exciting time, and I can't wait to have an open discussion. This is new. It's nerve-wracking at the same time, yet my excitement and enthusiasm is really, really high. I'd be remiss if I didn't say, I miss a little bit of not seeing my mom a little bit, not seeing Mr. C right back there. So we got to try to get them down to the district so they can come hang out at the hilltop and see what this is all about.
Well, Ed, I know how important family is to you, and we'll talk about this as the night goes on. But I find this amazing, and I think you'll be able to find it more amazing. Would you believe you, Ed? Would you believe me if I told you that 70 days has gone by since you were introduced as the head coach of the Georgetown Hoyas? Describe that to me.
Oh, 70 days. I can't even believe it. It seems like it's been 2 hours. It's been probably 15 to 17 hours a day, trying to connect to our community, trying to connect to alum recruiting. As we got here, we have 4 remaining players that are on the roster: Jay Heath, Wayne, Ryan Matumbo, and did I say Jay? Oh, and a cook. Yep. And from there, the staff and I, we've had to assemble another team, which has been challenging and exciting at the same time. Also trying to catch up on 24 recruiting, but to sell homes, buy homes, graduating a daughter, just dealing with the emotional fatigue of leaving home, which was wow, that was very, very hard. But as hard as it was to leave and be away for those 70 days, the excitement and enthusiasm to be on this webinar and have this conversation to reestablish Camelot and create a new energy, as we've talked about, is always respecting tradition, always respecting legacy, but it is a new time. The challenge will be hard, but I think there are a lot of challenges and there are a lot of things that we can overcome with the support of many that are on this. And I look forward to reestablishing and building this the right way.
So let's talk about building this,
Mhm.
because a lot of people will read, that the way that they're informed about a roster addition is a Twitter post or, hey, there's the leak. This kid committed. They got this kid. What a big get! It's big get season. Every program in America, Ed. What a great addition for that program, right?
Yeah.
Or am I wrong?
The big get season. I like that. We're gonna probably have to. You're gonna probably have to, copyright that or some way.
It's big get season. So I'm curious because what people don't see when you sit down with your group, with your staff internally and say, here's what we identify as the get for Georgetown for us. How does that process go and how has that process gone in the first 2 months?
Well, in the first 2 months, you first, you got to identify and you have to build relationships on campus first to see what type of young man can make it at Georgetown, what type of kid fits at Georgetown. I already know what type of player can be successful in the Big East, but what type of person can be successful at Georgetown with a combination of talent, integrity, character, academic love, the ability to give back. I'm an inclusive person, and I want a whole community to help us build this. So when we're sitting down as a staff, Jeff, Ivan, Brian, LaDante, Kyron, Walt, we'll talk about our staff in a little while. We say, okay, first of all, who's the best possible player that fits the way we want to play, that fits into how we want to build our roster, and we'll talk about roster development. And then who's actually recruitable. Again, in the world of NIL, which is so important, I'm so excited to talk about our Hoya Rising as well, and the different ways that, our supporters and season ticket holders could support our program, through philanthropy and through donations, not just to the NIL, but to the overall development of our program. It is vital that we pick people who can play for me as the head coach and implement a system that is a winning style.
That's great stuff. And that style, that winning style, what goes into that?
Well, as you know, I'm first of all, I want to thank, Lee Reed. I want to thank Jack DeGioia and our board, our directors, our governors, our regents for allowing me the opportunity to come here to reestablish Camelot. I want to thank everybody that's had an open arms in welcoming us into the district and into the Georgetown family and into the, to the hilltop. Our teams are traditionally versatile. Our teams are traditionally very, very tough and physical, but connected and disciplined, and just play with a chip on their shoulder, and we hopefully can, build on what identity we had when I was coaching at Providence. And I think they're going to be an outstanding team led by a very dynamic young coach in Kim English. I know that's going to be a very, very challenging game when we have to go to them and them to us. So, I think it starts with toughness. I think it starts with confidence, versatility, and people buying into a role. If we can get that, and you can get that in team building, you'll build a program that can sustain success because your culture is going to be so strong.
By the way, if anybody wants to chime in with questions throughout the evening, we're here to take them. We're here to talk about them. A lot of fans, they see these names and they see some of these guys who you are adding. And for those who might just be jumping back in, I'm sure you're not, because the passionate ones are on here. Go to @Georgetown Hoops, @Hoya Hoop Club for the latest on the Hoyas every single day. But it stood out to me, Ed, because, May 6th May 6th rolls around, and that's when you guys put out your first big announcement. And that's a former highly touted recruit who was at Texas, Rowan Brumbaugh, who is going to come in and be a guard for your program. He was that first of the announced players that you've been able to add to your roster. So let's start right there. When you're talking to Rowan, who was a highly touted recruit, a guy at Texas, what is it that you saw in him, and what is it that he saw in Georgetown that allowed this to get the ball rolling on your momentum this spring?
Well, I think with all the players, whether it be Rowan or, and again, from a compliance standpoint, I mean, hopefully they all sign their letters and all their, we had prior relationship prior to him. If you remember, he committed to Northwestern, and then he went to Texas with Beard. They redshirted him, but the relationship we had prior to, and he's from Georgetown. He's a flip wedge from our practice facility. So I think, the natural relationship that was built prior to him going to college, he remembered the opportunity to come and have a role and to play in the Big East, which was really, really important to him. I think the Big East fits his style of play, and it's going to allow him to help us reestablish the district and have people from the DMV try to come to Capital One Arena and help us create an incredible home court advantage. And just want to touch on that before we touch on our other players. It is so important, so important for our home court to have an it factor, to have a wow factor, to have an in-game activities. While the basketball game's being played, there's in-game things that'll happen. And I know our marketing team and our game day operations guys, we're all going to get together and have a fun conversation. It's got to be an event to go to. I do know this, one of the best fan bases in America is right down in Providence, Rhode Island. And, we had to build that, and we built it as a community. And I think that's going to be done here at a very high level as well. But just like anything else, you have to put a winning product on the floor. And in order to do that, we're also going to need that energy and support from not just our season ticket holders, but the entire DMV district and the district coming together to help us, what we call Camelot up here on the hilltop. So, when we're talking to our players that we're recruiting, whether it be Rowan, whether it be Jaden, Dontrez, Drew Fielder, Ish, all these young men are looking for opportunity. Absolutely. And if I go back to where I was a year ago, almost to the day, where we lost players when we were at Providence College, we had 4 players returning from that team. We signed 2 freshmen, and I believe we brought in five transfers, I believe. All the same philosophy, looking for opportunity. And we will carry that same philosophy here. Identify men that are hungry, that are eager, that feel like they just needed a new opportunity at another place. And Georgetown is the place for them. And I'm excited. I haven't met them all collectively yet. They all arrive here Saturday. We'll get some physicals, and hopefully everybody passes with flying colors. So, we'll have a great team meeting on Sunday. And on Monday, hopefully we begin our journey together in, to me, the most competitive top to bottom conference in all of college basketball.
This is where the work gets put in.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's and you talked about the 70 days. It's settling down a little bit with respect to, what 2023 is going to look like. We've been working really, really digital, very hard on 24. We're also working hard on 25. So, I think our staff is doing a really good job, but the task at hand is we have to make sure that we implement our culture, implement implement our identity with the 2023 class, and make sure that we establish something that's sustainable. That very much so. I think culture wins games.
What comes to mind when thinking about your great teams, a couple years ago, when you go to a Sweet 16, Texas Tech comes into your building and you beat them, and you were down in that game, and the crowd willed you back.
Right.
If you went to Texas Tech, we both know what the crowd would probably be around for a November or December game. You go to those Big 12 schools, they're focused on winning football games still in November and December. You've been down to TCU and played them, and there's nobody in the building. You get TCU in your building in the battle. You get Syracuse in your building in year one. Those home opportunities and of what you can say about anything else to the fans out there, about what you're working on, just how crucial is that going to be to setting your culture, that when your players walk into the building, they know that, we're going to be TCU's worst nightmare tonight. We're going to be Syracuse's worst nightmare because Georgetown basketball has thousands behind them.
Exactly. And I appreciate your passion when you talk about that, because that passion and energy and enthusiasm is going to be needed in Capital One Arena, and a home crowd is worth 5 or 6 wins a year. Again, loved playing home games at the Old Dunk and the Amp. And as much as you don't want to go backwards, you do have to give credit where credit is due. The fans really created a home court advantage. And for us here at Georgetown, we have to reestablish that. I remember coming to this, to this arena when I was the assistant at Boston College. I remember playing here when I was the head coach at Fairfield. Then obviously the early days in the Big East when it was, when we came in 2011. This is a hard place to play when this building has energy and enthusiasm. So, our job is to try to get the 4,100 club up and going this year, meaning 4,100 students at every single game. And that's not going to happen overnight. Having 20,000 people isn't going to happen overnight. I'm asking our fans, I'm asking our donors, I'm asking our supporters, I'm asking those that are watching that are not season ticket holders, we need you. And I think anytime you ask for help, for the most part, people want to participate, and again, the wins may not come as fast as you want, but a program is going to be built. An identity is going to be built. The word inclusive and engaging and us being around you and you being around us on the hilltop is going to be important. I need you to see our men, not just as basketball players, but young men eager to get to the NBA, eager to get to the workplace. Maybe some of you on here have companies where you can hire our young men when they're done playing. That, with our NIL opportunities, that they could represent your company and or your business to give them an identity and use their likeness and image to help your company and or your business. So there's a lot of excitement and enthusiasm, and everybody wants to win. Sometimes patience, process, and development create a winning culture and a winning program.
Well said, Coach. Well said.
Appreciate it.
We got a question. I kind of laugh at this question because I have legitimately seen you throughout your coaching career halfway through a possession when you know the other team's going to score a basket, you are at half court like this. Official. Kevin, a Hoya fan, asks us tonight, how important is Georgetown's identity on defense?
That's easy. We hang our hat on our defense. I like to believe our staff has done a really good job in scouting and taking away the known. Our physicality and defensive rebounding is going to be really important. Positional defense is going to be really important. So those are the things that I think Hoya Nation could expect from our defensive identity.
We have a lot of fans, Ed, asking about, one of the great summer traditions in basketball. It is the Kenner League. What that means to the fans, what that means to the kids, what that means to everybody that loves basketball in the district. Will you attend any games? What's your thoughts on the Kenner League? What do you have?
Well, I'm going to talk to our players. I mean, I would love for our players to participate in the Kenner League. We got to see what the rules are for us. I don't know if we as a staff could attend the high school version of it, if it's not a recruiting period or it's not sanctioned by the NCAA yet. You know, the kids could play in the summer league. I got to see the rules on that. I don't see a reason why our players shouldn't participate in it. It's just an opportunity for us to continue to play and grow and allow our community to see our players before they get to Capital One Arena. And it allows them to, you know, just to work on their game. So I anticipate our players being a part of it.
By the same token, speaking of the DC area, I love this from Ben. This is a question that I have in my mind too. So Ben, great question. Ben asks, Coach, your favorite restaurant in DC so far?
Ooh, there's a couple of them that, you know, there's plenty of them. I don't know if I can just point out one. I can tell you the food has been fantastic. The steaks have been good. The seafood has been, you know, really, really good. I've loved eating on campus, actually. You know, I've loved eating on campus. I like being with our students and our faculty and staff. I think the food's too good to point out just one particular restaurant. The best place to eat is wherever my wife and daughter and son are. That's the best place to eat. You know, that's the best answer I can give you there, you know?
And you will you be spotted on the grill at all this summer? Do you get to the grill? Are you into that? You know, will you put some burgers on?
Okay, true confession. I am a horrendous cook. I can boil water and I season it with a little bit of salt. Okay. I try to, but you know, the burgers look like hockey pucks when they're done. You know, the steaks look like hockey pucks when they're done. You don't want me on there. Although I can make a pretty decent pasta. I really can. That may be my go-to. That may be my, or a nice bowl of Cheerios. We can serve that up, you know. Honey nut Cheerios, honey nut.
Honey nut Cheerios.
Yes. You know, it's a little sweet.
Outside of that, that's about it. Nothing else. I mean, we might see you serving some chicken sandwiches at the on-campus Chick-fil-A, but
I'm gonna do a lot more than serve chicken sandwiches on there. You know, we want to be in, you know, for our incoming students move-in day. You're going to see our team on campus. You're going to see us on campus. I want to be part of, you know, just like we did it at Providence. Every freshman class we want to meet. We want every student to buy season tickets. Every student, of which it'll be more than affordable. There's going to be there'll be something rolled out on how you can possibly get every dollar back. Not a bad idea. There's going to be ways where there'll be some giveaways during games. There'll be, I think what we're going to do from a marketing standpoint is going to engage our student body, but our goal is to try to get 4,100 students every single game. And you will see us out there, out pre-game, post-game, you know, different things on campus. Because I think the game experience really is about a lot about the students. The students bring a lot of energy as we're getting a little older. But some of our older fan base, they have more energy than anybody. And I love the fact that everybody has passion and, you know, we got to get a little edgy in the crowd. You know, when you go to Xavier, when you go to Gamble, you know, when you're at Creighton and it's dollar beer night, woo, those are some tough places to play. Now going to the AMP, you got the Tall Boys and, you know, Taylor Swift rocking and rolling. It's fun playing on the road because it's a challenge, and it's a challenge we're looking forward to going up against.
All right, I like this question here because, you know, when we talk about some of the different things that we're talking through tonight, Hoya's Rising being one of them. You know, a fan in Michael just submits a question and says, first, all caps, thank you for coming to Georgetown. He agrees that NIL will be huge. And he asks, how soon can our companies, he's one of those Georgetown alums you spoke of, how can we connect with players? How soon can we start connecting? And he says, also, how about bringing Hoya player alums into the NIL space as well. Mike, like me, a class of 1987 asked that.
Well, Mike, I appreciate the question, and it's one of the things we had as one of our talking points here. The NIL world is real. The dynamic of college athletics has changed with transfer portal and NIL, a seismic changes in college athletics right now. And in order for us to be competitive, it's not a want. If we don't have a competitive Hoya Rising program, of which all of you could participate, we're asking you to donate to it, not just, that, but we need season tickets. So we're asking for a lot, but that's the world and the landscape that we're in. And, we have a website, Tim Brosnan, who's doing a great job with that, Mark Guerrero with our Hoya's Hoop Club and the support that they give us. It's going to be important for us to be competitive in that. And to do that, again, you go on the website and there's a lot of different features on there where you can help support our players. We will have many events on campus where the companies and businesses and all of our title sponsors will have an opportunity to meet our players. We will have a meet and greet for our season ticket holders. We'll have a meet and greet for our alum. We'll have a meet and greet for the Hoya Hoop Club. All these things, all these new initiatives will be rolled out really, really soon. I don't even think we're behind. I think we're ahead on some of these things. We first have to put a team together. None of this is possible. You can't meet somebody who's not playing for you. All right. So these things are coming, so heads up and be looking at your emails and looking for our social media platform for all these great things that are coming. It won't happen overnight, but anticipate something coming really, really soon.
And putting a team together, let's get back to some of those players that people are curious about. And these are players that have been officially announced by you guys, by the team already. What you talked about culture, and watching this team this past year, it was like, whoa, they've got Jerome Tang in Kansas State. They had it at a very high level and obviously made a run. You bring in a transfer in Ishmael Massoud. What is he going to provide?
I loved meeting him. I thought the staff did a good job identifying an elite shot maker, somebody who was looking for more of an opportunity to get extended minutes, of which we had to offer, and somebody who had a history of winning. And bringing him from Coach Tang, who did a great job at Kansas State in his first year, assembling a whole new team and being able to pick his brain. And you're being able to pick his brain and use his versatility to play at 3, maybe 4 positions, using his length, using his experience, being a 5th-year person. As you know, the game of basketball is old right now. So we're going to look for him to stretch the floor. We're going to look for his leadership in the locker room. We're going to look for his leadership off the floor. But I think he's going to have a major voice because I think naturally he's a leader. And that's something in sport that we're always going to use.
We know what size means. Especially in the Big East, in the last 24 hours, hey, it gets announced that Kalkbrenner kid's coming back to Creighton. Ryan Kalkbrenner will be back at Creighton. We know in the Big East what size means. You have a guy who has signed with you, and it's official, in Drew Fielder, who follows you down to the hilltop. How excited are you to bring in Drew, and what made you fall in love with the kid?
Well, the staff did a great job. Kind of fell on our lap last year. We were just reading. We wanted a versatile step out 5-man who can play the 5 and the 4. We did a good job evaluating him, and then we went out to his high school in Southern Cal Academy. Julius did a great job developing him. He was along out there with a gentleman by the name of Garway Duel, who I think is going to be a great player at Providence. He's tough. He's versatile. I think his upside is high, really, really high. I think he can step out. He can pass. We could run offense through him. He's somebody that the Big East is going to definitely get to know. Yet going up against all these older guys, he's going to have some growing pains. But that's, you got to be patient with his development. Like you said, Kalkbrenner seems like he was in school with Reggie Williams and Gene and and Charles and Freddie Brown and everybody. So You're going to have a lot of established veterans in the Big East that he's going to learn from. But, I'm looking forward to his growth and development because he's going to be a staple from day one.
Yeah, that's awesome. We're looking at different questions here from fans, and I think what's interesting is people might not necessarily know this, but last week you were down in Florida for Big East meetings.
Yeah.
These are annual meetings held every single May, and you get together with the schools, you get together with the coaches from around the league. From the outside, Ed, the consensus is around the country, the Big East is on fire.
Yeah.
What's the thought process? What was the vibe down there inside those meeting rooms?
So if I can give you all just a glimpse into that room, and you walk into the room and you have Val, who's done a great job. We have a new deputy commissioner. I don't know what title Dan Leibowitz has. You still got Paquette, who's been there since, probably almost the beginning of the Big East back in, when it was formed. You have John Cal leading all the officials, doing a great job in all of the Big East office. Larry Jones, who's retiring from Fox, and all the Fox team that was there, Barty and everyone. And then you look around the coaching. Wow. The Big East coaching depth and is as good as any coaching tree in America right now. When you have a Patino, you have a Shaka Smart, you have a Shaheen, you have Kyle, you have Mata, you have Miller, and you're looking around, you're saying, wow, the depth of coaching in the league and the knowledge and the success. I'm excited about that. I'm very, very excited about that we have a basketball-centric conference, and every school is all in on men's basketball, on basketball in general, men's and women's basketball. So it's challenging. It's very, very challenging. And, we're going to have to make sure we are tough, we are disciplined, and we are committed to playing on the defensive end in order to try to bring our program back to relevance.
Judd asks, how do the 4 players that are returning to your team, you brought them up earlier in our conversation, how do they fit into what you're trying to do?
Well, the first thing is I think they're quality young men. They're going to get a Georgetown degree, which makes me feel so excited for them. Very, very excited for them. On the court, we've had a couple of workouts because of, we just haven't had the bodies. Our first official team workout will be Monday or Tuesday of next week. So, Judd, I can't answer that as far as how they're going to fit in, because everyone's going to have an opportunity to showcase what they can do within the structure of the way we want to play. And that hopefully is a multi-positional offensive rhythm where we're scoring it in transition, where we're using the three-point line as an incredible weapon, but using our versatility to put opposing defenses in a very awkward position because of mismatches. So I think they'll all bring something to the table. To what level, I don't know yet, because I haven't had them in a 5-on-5 situation.
We're continuing to take your questions here over the next 10 minutes. I'm curious, Coach, how many hours of sleep do you get a night?
That's a fair question. I've learned how to go from the Thompson Center to our apartment. So going down M Street, a lot of traffic here. What normally would take about 8 minutes to go up 1.5 miles takes about 32 minutes sometimes. So there's a little bit of vocabulary that comes out that, I have to ask for confession every now and then. Yet sleep's overrated right now. Sleep's overrated. It's I think I need a little sleep. I do. Yet the excitement and the enthusiasm in my veins and in my blood, there's so many things that we're trying to achieve, and your brain doesn't shut off. When I have a chance to see what our team looks like, it'll probably settle me down. Until then, we're going to keep working at a frenetic pace. The staff is doing a great job, and that's definitely something I'd love to talk about. when it came as a major, major, major shock to our staff when, I told them that, I was going to make a change. And, that wasn't a popular look that I got out the gate, which I understood. Very, very tough decision to make, yet it was something that it just was something that I had to do with respect to change was okay. Change is okay in all of our lives. And I remember going to Jeff Battle and he's like, really? And Brian Blaney and Ivan Thomas and, Kevin and Sue, but I think the guys are doing a great job. Ivan, Jeff, Brian, LaDante Hinton, Kyron Cartwright, Walt Colbean, who's coming from BU as one of our operations person. Our recruiters on the road will be myself, Jeff Battle, Ivan Thomas, Brian Blaney. They'll have a lot of we will do all the recruiting operations with Kyron Cartwright, Walt, LaDante, Matt Fallon, who was a manager for us at Providence, and then a GA. They will hold the operations down and, the everyday responsibilities. Coach White, our strength coach, gave 20 incredible years of service at Providence College, is transitioning down to Hoya Nation. And I'm pretty sure he'll be missed there. I think he's elite at what he does. And I'm pretty sure Providence replaced him with another incredible strength coach. But our staff is doing a really good job. And, they're buying homes, selling homes, trying to find places to live, proximity close to the college. And I'm looking forward to, working with Ben, our trainer. I'm looking forward to working with our academic support staff and, our coordinators, our wellness, our psychologists. It's just fun. Everything's new and exciting, but it's nerve-wracking at the same time. So excited to see where this takes us.
Hey, big headlines for Georgetown basketball in regards to the NBA Finals, which start tomorrow night. There are two Hoyas, Jeff Green of the Nuggets, Omer Yurtseven of the Heat organization. Georgetown, Ed, is one of only 6 schools with multiple players in the NBA Finals. How much does that matter to you? And how much are you looking forward? I feel like, Ed, that Jeff Green is going to play another 25 years.
What was really exciting, during the press conference was to see him there.
Yeah.
And to see some of our former players there, Church, JYD, to see some of our former players there it just touched my soul, because at the end of the day, this is not a coach's team. This is a former players and current players team. This is the alumni team. This is the supporters team. I just happen to be the captain of the ship right now, along with a lot of other soldiers. And my job is to try to set sail a winning team, a graduating team. Well, I'm happy to say, as somebody from Georgetown is going to win an NBA championship. And you forgot another Hoya, by the way, Alonzo Mourning.
Oh, yeah.
Alonzo Mourning.
That's right.
Yeah. And so I think Nerissa and I are going to try to get down. We're going to try to go to game 4, depending on what we got. We're going to try to get down there and bounce down and back to, also go see Anthony Carter, Devin Carter's dad, who's on the staff there at Miami. I'm never going to forget where I come from, ever, ever, ever. You know what I mean? I was born and raised in an incredible city that I love to this day. My entire family's back there. I know we have some supporters and fans who are a little dismayed by the departure, but it's part of life. And I think when it's all said and done, everybody is going to be on the winning side of what life is. We're here, we're cheering for our team. I think, both teams will be very, very competitive, and just looking forward to the challenges ahead. But I definitely want to make sure people understand I'll always remember where I come from, and you can't take away where you were born. I'll be a Rhode Islander for the rest of my life. I just happen to be in a district right now, and I'm incredibly excited and happy about the situation that we're in.
Well, it's exciting to think about the possibilities. And I know you're a big dreamer, and I know that you're somebody who always has a vision. If I had told you, 15 years ago, that you're going to get to watch your daughter walk on the stage, she's a Georgetown University graduate.
You want to talk about touching, and to sit there as a parent on the lawn there, and as I'm walking to the seats, and I, with my son, with some of my friends who came up to support Olivia from Rhode Island, from Connecticut. I'm sitting there next to this guy. I'm like, this dude looks real familiar. He says, "Hi, Coach Cooley, Al Gore." And I met his daughter, whose daughter was graduating from the college. Met his grandson, who just had graduated from Vanderbilt, I think the school was. But to just sit there and listen to the incredible graduation speaker, former alum, wow, what a day, It's something that it's a reason why we as first generation kids, and that's why I appreciate Stonehill College, that allowed me to be a first gen graduate. I think that set the things in tone for my children. And to see Olivia graduate from such a prestigious college university, and how much she has grown, and the opportunities that this degree and her experience here on the hilltop are going to give her, I couldn't be, there's no prouder moment for me is to see my children advance, grow, and develop. And I'm thankful for Georgetown for helping shape my baby. Very, very grateful for that.
We were talking before we came on, and that's so special, and that's greater than anything that we could think about in terms of the score of a game or player development or your job. But your thoughts on the Georgetown experience. I know that you've shared this with other groups before of your young men and what you want them to get out of their years at Georgetown, and what your belief is for who they become from the time when they walk into you and your staff's office to the time that they walk out.
That's a loaded question, because you have to look at it from a couple of different lenses. Number one, everybody sees the coaches. I think we become parents, we become psychologists, we become therapists. They come in very shy. Some are confident, but not many. They exude confidence in different ways. Our job is to educate them, to help them grow, to help them give back. A Georgetown player is going to be humble, appreciative, have gratitude, say please and thank you, open doors, understand that, it is a privilege. It is a privilege to represent that G. It is a privilege to, play at Capital One Arena. It's a privilege to play in the Big East. It's a privilege to walk on the grounds of the university. And I want people to know who our players are. I want them to respect them for their person, not their player. If they happen to be a good player, good for them. And then when they do graduate, for them to come back, to give back, to understand what is philanthropy, what is generosity. Those things go a long way that create an opportunity for someone else. But our goal here at Georgetown is to give a young man an opportunity to help them help us win championships, but to graduate, but to be the best person they can be. Here at Georgetown, it's all about the person, the mind, the body, the spirit, and educating them to be the best that they can be. And hopefully, being the best that they can be, they'll be called champions at the end.
Mark Guerrero, you want to run through a wall?
100%. How can you not be excited to play for this guy, to be a fan of this program with Ed Cooley leading the charge? I can tell you, the Hoya fan base is fired up. And everything I've heard, and I've told you this from the moment you were hired, has been nothing but excitement from our entire fan base. And This is why. It's so refreshing to have you as our leader, to hear the words inclusive, engaging, to have the vision that you have for this program that we can all get a sense of, and to see how you're building it, understanding, yes, it's going to take time, of course. You got 4 guys returning, you got a whole new system you're putting in place, whole new staff. But the excitement that we all have for it is at 150%. I mean, I can't wait for the season to start. I know you got questions about the Kenner League because people are dying to see the guys play. You know, people are just excited, an entire fan base, to be rejuvenated, to reestablish. I've heard you use the word reestablish, to see you and to help you reestablish the program in every single way that we can help you do that. So
and we need the help. And we need the help. We need the support. And the way you can help us is show up, you know, donate to our collective, you know, be part of the, you know, the Hoya Hoop Club, you know, say hello when you're on campus, stop in, you know, if you see our players, introduce yourself, you know, bring 10, 15, 20 people to Capital One Arena, you know, call the ticket office, call Andrew. It is a lot of different ways to support our program, you know. And again, can't talk about Hoya's Rising enough, the Hoya Hoop Club enough. Those programs support men's basketball and support our student athletes. And that is, you know, the landscape that has changed the game dramatically. But this isn't going to happen overnight. You know, I don't want to come up here and just try to sell, you know, I have a dream and I do dream big. I think you have to speak your existence into the community. You have to be very open and direct with what your vision is and what your plan is. And our plan is to do it every single day. Don't look in the rearview mirror. Keep your eyes on the prize in front of the windshield. That's why it's so big. You can't do this to the windshield. You can do this to the mirror and adjust the things that are in the back and in the past. And I never want our fan base, I never want our supporters to forget about the history and the tradition of Georgetown basketball. You can't do that. From Big John to Craig Esherick to JT3 to Patrick Ewing, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, Georgetown basketball is not Georgetown basketball without Patrick Ewing, without Reggie Williams, without Michael Graham, without Ralph Dalton, you know, without these, to me, these heroes that pioneered the expectations that's put upon us today, right? Without that, these conversations of possibilities are just dreams. But the dream was met with teams going to the Final Four. The dreams were met when that team won a national championship and going to back-to-back Final Fours and competing for it all. Hopefully that's within the works, but it's not going to be easy. You know, we all want to compete. We didn't take the job to say, hey, well, I hope we come in last place. We don't want to do that. We dream. We have conversations of possibility. We have a little bit of patience. I got to do a great job managing, not so much coaching. And coaching and managing is expectation is too, you know. I'm not saying we're going to come here and just fly right to the top of this league. I said so super, super competitive. But I'll tell you what, people are going to know they played Georgetown. They're going to know they've been in one of the hardest games they've played in their life when they compete against one of our teams. And from there, that hard work will pay off because winning is right around the corner.
While you were talking, Chris messaged in, and I think Chris wants to sign up. Ed, he wants to register right now. I don't even know how old he is. It doesn't matter. If it's not him, it's going to be his son. He goes, is there a Cooley Georgetown summer basketball camp? If it's not this summer, 2024, how do I get to that?
Yeah, we're going to have one. I mean, you know, a lot of people have asked about summer camp. And I think because of so much has to get done, I think I have some empathy for campers that want to come to camp. I just don't think it was in the works this year. There may be a possible elite camp for our high school kids, possibly a one-day camp or maybe a one-day team camp. We've been talking about that. But for me to come here to try to establish a camp out the gate, I think is I just don't think there's enough hours in the day for what we need for our program, what we need for our, for our team and our players right now to have that. But Chris, one will definitely be coming in the near future in the years to come.
When you look at your roster, you can't talk about everybody yet, so I'm not singling out anybody. But when you think about what you've got, what you've been able to reel in here and throughout this spring cycle, what kind of a team do you think you can have in 23-24 in this upcoming season?
A fair question, John. I think we'll have a very versatile team. We won't have as much girth in front of the rim as I'm accustomed to coaching. And obviously in the Big East, you need some girth. So, Marquette proved that you have to play a certain way without the wide bodies in the box. Iguodaro is probably one of the more unique players I've seen in 20 years. Great player. And that Marquette team returns just about everyone. I know we lost Omax in the league, yet Shaka and his staff have done a great job recruiting. And I thought, developing his young guys from last year will add value to them. The Big East will have probably 5 or 6 teams in the top 20, not even top 25. But I think our team will be versatile, be fast, unknown. That'll be what I mean. The Hoyas right now are unknown, the unknown Hoyas. Let's see where we go, baby. Let's see where we go, right? So I haven't met them all collectively yet as a group. So I need to first find out what's our it. Every team has an it. And hopefully our it is tough, competitive, and relentless. You got to be relentless in order to try to close out games. Fearless.
All right, we've been going for 53 minutes. I've asked you 70 questions. So now it's time for Ed Asks. So you can ask me any question.
Okay, let me work on my interview skills. Hey everybody. Ed Cooley here from Georgetown men's basketball here on the Hilltop. We have Mark Guerrero, who's here with the Hoya Hoop Club, and our guy, John Famous Fanta. Fanta, I have a question for you. Which team in the Big East do you feel has an opportunity to have the biggest jump in 23-24 season? That is not Georgetown.
Wow, that's a late clause to your question. Well, I don't think it's going to shock people who are in here that I'm going to place my bet, my belief in a team that has a Hall of Famer on the sidelines who epitomizes what it means to win in college basketball, has pretty much won everywhere he's gone. And so I'm going to take St. John's, and I'm going to take Rick Pitino. They're not named Georgetown. And so I'm going to take St. John's because I'm not going against that guy on the sidelines. St. John's has been in a tough spot the last couple of years. Coach Anderson tried to get them going. They were always a play away or 2 or 3 plays away. That to me is about to change. And when you look at what they've done in this offseason, and when you look at what he brings to the table, all I know is one thing. Georgetown St. John's is also back. St. John's Georgetown is back. That game matters. I don't know about you, but when you walk into Madison Square Garden, I know you get a chill, but you're going to be doing it with your Georgetown Hoyas against St. John's. And I think there's some Georgetown people in New York City that care about Hoyas basketball.
100%.
So that rivalry is, out of all the storylines, that's something that, I think of Louis. I think of Coach Thompson. I think of Chris Mullen. I think of Patrick. The names go on and on. St. John's is my pick. And honestly, as a college basketball fan, I find it fun. And I'm really intrigued. I know Coach Pitino can give other coaches nightmares. But I know one thing. He's going to compete as hard as hell. And he's going to help St. John's get back on the map, which the Big East, it's a good thing for the Big East when the New York team is cooking.
How about that passionate answer for our fan base to get that from the famous Fanta over there? I have another question for you. Another question.
Okay.
in the Big East that include Georgetown, your favorite place to dine, favorite city to dine in?
Yeah, so I got to tell you,
Don't forget you're from Jersey.
oh yeah, but I know. I know.
You asking me all these hard questions. I'm not trying to
Yeah,
put you
you're
on.
asking.
Okay,
Yeah.
you know what? Let me clean that up because I got to protect my guy. I don't want to put you on blast like that.
Yeah.
Favorite foods to eat in all the cities. That's
Well,
it.
let's call it, yeah. I'm glad you're right. I'm from Jersey. I'm glad Coach Willard. Well, he's down in the DMV now, and all he talks about is how he can't find Jersey pizza down in the DMV area. He ships it sometimes down there. I like my Jersey Italian food. Having said this, I'm an Italian food guy. I will eat Mexican. I mean, I'll eat whatever's on the table. But when I'm down at Georgetown, my behind is planted in the window at La Perla. That's right, Mark Guerrero. That's my spot.
Absolutely. Had some
That
good
is
times
the
there.
spot. That place is high level Italian food. That Italian sausage. I mean, I can taste it right now. Ed, while you're game planning for Syracuse, the night before that game, sorry, but I'll be over at La Perla, hopefully with Raftery, eating all kinds of food on the table and drinking wine and thinking, man, we got the right end of the stick on this. We're not the guy who's going to be. We get to work for 3 hours.
Good spot there. Yeah, that's close. That's right down M Street there. Now, I mean, that is a good spot. Really, really good spot. I'm awful with questions. I'm just excited about the opportunity to be on here with our season ticket holders, Hoya Rising, Hoya Hoop Club. It's just an exciting time for us. I appreciate everyone for joining us today. I appreciate the questions from our fan base. Good things are happening. Good things are happening. There's great energy. Have some patience with us as we're building and as we're, reestablishing ourselves in the community, on campus, with our alum, with our fan base. A lot of new things are going to happen here, and we need everyone involved. I'm looking forward to meeting as many people as we can. Let's try and get as many people in Capital One Arena as possible. Get behind us now. Get behind us now, right? There's some incredible things that are be coming down the pipe. And I can't tell you how excited I am about the opportunity to lead Georgetown's basketball program back to national prominence.
Mic drop. Mic drop. We want to thank everybody who's been here tonight. Mark Guerrera, any parting thought for the fan base? Any orders of business?
I just want to emphasize what Coach Cooley just said. We are excited to support you, Coach. I cannot stress to our fans enough what the importance of being there at the front of the gate right now as Coach Cooley begins to lead us to the promised land. Everybody, let's get out there and support him. It's going to be an absolute blast. You get a sense of it here over this past hour of the person that we have leading this program, who we can all be so happy and proud of as our leader. And we're just all juiced. So let's go get it.
Hoya Saxa, baby.
Hoya Saxa.
Perfect way to close. As Kevin, a 26-year season ticket holder, just said, I have never been more excited than I am today. Thank you for bringing the excitement back. Hope to meet you soon. Hope to see you all soon. Hope to see you all in the upcoming season at Capital One. And for Coach Cooley, for Mark, for everybody at the Georgetown Athletic Department, I'm John Fanta. Thank you, everybody, for Hoya Hoop Talk. This has been a great hour. Enjoy your summer. It's only just begun.
John, you're great, man. We appreciate you, dog. We appreciate it. Mark, thank you. A lot of things happen, and I just want to thank everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, let me thank you, Coach, for taking the time to spend with our fans. And John, as I said at the jump, it's always great to have you with us. We appreciate all you do for the Big East and for Georgetown, and always great to have you around.
Anytime, guys. Thank you. I appreciate
John,
it.
we'll see you soon.
Let's go Hoyas.
Later, baby.
Very nice.